In this video we're going to paint the Overlord. I first started off with a white undercoat because we're going to be using yellow paint afterwards, and the first coat for the yellow paint was Uriel yellow. Several coats were applied to make sure you get a good base coat. After this, Seraphim Sapphire has been applied into areas where I feel it would be slightly darker due to light reflection. This process also takes 2 or 3 coats just to build it up. Next, again to emphasise areas where it's going to be slightly darker, I'm using Agrax Earthshade. However, this time I'm just covering a smaller area just to pick out that depth. For the lightest areas of the yellow, I'm either using Phalanx Yellow or Dawn Yellow to again further try and pick out the details, especially with the tops of the vertebrae. They end up with Dawn Yellow, and I'm applying the highlights into the circular joints first rather than the darker shades in the recesses, because this way the darker shades will hide any imperfections in your painting. And now, depending on how dark I want the detail to be in the cracks and crevices, I'm either using Seraphim Sapphire or Agrax Earthshade to pick out the areas for the various joints. And I've also used some Agrax Earthshade on the areas, the dark area where the feet are. Now it's time to start painting the main armour, which I started off with Corvus Black first, and once I was satisfied with the Corvus Black, the next stage was Scavenge Blight Dinge, and the Scavenge Blight Dinge was used to pick out some of the edges and also some of the larger flat areas to represent how light would catch it and it would make it slightly lighter. Lastly, for the very uppermost areas, and also I've painted that slight line across the shoulder armour with Mechanicus Standard Grey. Blades and cables have been painted with Corax White first, just to make sure there's no imperfections due to other colours due to the mess of painting. And the plain cables have been left alone. However, the ribbed cables, I've used the side of the brush to apply some Rush Grey. And for the blades, depending on the blade, if it's a single blade, I've just applied some Fenrisian Grey as a fine line. However, if it's a blade where it's got 2 sections to it, then I've started off with Fenrisian Grey and then applied a fine line of Rush Grey just to make it slightly darker. And now the cables and the blades, I've had a watered down Lothorn blue to go over the areas, and watering it down so when the paint dries it will leave some of those greys showing through the blue colour. And the symbols on the chest had Corax White first, again just to make sure that there's no contaminating colours into the area, and after that Nighthawk Gloom was applied to these areas. For the eyes and the orbs on the miniature, they were initially painted with White Scar first, followed by Flashkit's Yellow. The white scars put on there first because yellow doesn't go over black very well, so this is why you applied the white first. And once the yellow has had time to dry, quite a heavy load of Ferregan Orange is applied into the area. This will naturally want to seep into the crevices and therefore give a depth of colour between the yellow and the orange to finish off the miniature. If you like the video, remember to subscribe to help the channel, and also send links to your friends.